Hello, you're watching Avenue X, and today I want to talk about a recently kind of finished airing Chinese web drama, 方圆800米 800. This is a 20 episodes contemporary drama that has started airing on April the 17th on Tencent. This is an original script drama not based on any existing material and directed by Qiu Zhongwei. You may not be very familiar with the director's name, but he was also the director of Guang Yuan, Justice in the Dark, that BL adaptation drama that never got aired properly in China, only the first 8 episodes kind of, and then got sold to Japan and finished airing in Japan last year. As for this drama, it was shot from the end of 24 to beginning of 25, mostly in Jiangxi province. It is led by Xu Kai, Ding Yongdai, Deng Enxi, Hu Ke, Tu Songyan. For me, the reason that I got into this is first, I watch most of the dramas that are on air anyway. Second is I really like the older actors in this drama, like Ding Yongdai and Hu Ke. They've been around for a long time and they're very safe actors. And I was just curious to see whether with very good older actors as the backbone of the drama, the younger actors can do a better than you expected job. And surprisingly, this drama is actually much better than I expected. Let me first introduce you to what the story is. It will contain a little bit spoiler, and then I will talk about what I like and don't like about this drama. This is a set in late 1990s story in a very small mining town. Therefore, it is called 方圆800米 in Chinese title, which means in a radius of 800 meters, which is what the town is, the size of it. One day, the local police were caught to a very unusual and extreme case where a person got charred and burned to a point of obviously impossible to recognize who they are at an exposed mining sort of field where they pile up stuff from the mining, and supposedly it self-combusted and somehow catch someone, and then this person got burned to death. But it looks very suspicious. The kind of police deputy of that town, which is played by Ding Yongdai, got some old memories jogged. Over 2 decades ago, his fiancée was actually also burned in a very horrible way, similarly to what has happened right now. For so many years, they were trying to figure out what happened to her, why she caught on fire, and how did she just ended up in that ditch in the open mine and never really found out. So he wants to apply to the higher level of police bureau to restart that case 2 decades ago to figure out what has happened. And also obviously trying to figure out what has happened to the current case. This is the starting point of our story. Soon it will be linked to a kind of drug that's been circulating in the town secretly, made in the shape of cough syrup. As those investigations are going on, you'll see these two things actually intertwine. And unfortunately for this very loyal and very hardworking policeman who's been working in this town for decades, eventually the story will lead to his own son, which is played by Xu Kai, this young man who actually had a lot to do with these things. For this policeman, his wife is Hu Ke, played by the actress. Years ago, she wasn't actually with him. She was the friend of his fiancé, but the fiancé died, and eventually they got together and had a family and then gave birth to Xu Kai, the son. And this family watched over a girl growing up who was abandoned when she was born and then got adopted by like a very close friend of theirs. Therefore, the 2 kids grew up together. So basically Xu Kai's character and Deng Enxi's character. And they ended up being a couple, but the girl is sick. She got kidney problems and she needs dialysis and transplant. Heavy burden and motivation for our male lead character played by Xu Kai and then herself actually, Deng Enxi, to get themselves involved in that illegal syrup business. It is Chinese police crime drama, so you know where it's gonna end. Nobody is gonna get away. You will not have a gone through censorship Chinese police story where the bad people got away. There's only 2 choices. One is they die and then, they can't be prosecuted anymore. The second is they go to jail or end up wherever they should be. So I kind of spoiled it for you, but then even if I don't spoil, if you watch Chinese dramas, you know how it's gonna end anyway. If I have to put on my 7-level scale, which I don't use that much these days, but let's say if I still have to put it, I think it will be maybe a little bit shy of 2 gold mine. So overall, it's actually a lot better than I expected. Now, let me talk about what I like and don't like. Let me first talk about not necessarily what I think is bad about it, but I hope it could be more worked on. Mainly in this case, it is actually to do with the writing of the story. It created basically our protagonist of the story not being a good guy. Or you can say the protagonist of the story would be this pair of father and son. They actually, in this case, act as the good and bad people in the story. If you're going down that route, you might as well push it to an even more extreme version. In this story, the male lead character played by Xu Kai, he is a young man who didn't go to university after high school, who decided to stay and make money because his girlfriend has this kidney problem that would need a lot of money. And he went out of the town and tried to explore what is possible and ended up being caught in certain things, therefore eventually becoming one of the distributors of the illegal drug thing. And from the get-go, we know that he and the girl, played by Deng En-xi, this young couple, are actually in on this business together. They want the money to keep the girl living and then wait till the time comes where they can get a transplant. And one of the things after watching the 20 episodes, I would ask whether it is possible to get rewritten. For example, making Xu Kai be the only bad guy. Right now, the version is the girl is involved from the beginning, and they're kind of partner in crime, which makes it easier for them because they can be at different places at the same time. And because she is sick and weak, people usually don't tend to, put suspicion on her. It makes the situation, from audience's perspective, as you're watching this drama, making them even more unforgivable, particularly the girl. You are sick, which is not your fault, but then to prolong your own life, basically you make other people's life a hell. Then it makes it very hard for the audiences to fully empathize with her character. The problem with this story is it is led by Xu Kai, who has a sizable fandom. Drama audiences are 70% female too, and most of them are straight. And a lot of people who would go into watching this drama are Xu Kai fans. And they naturally stand on the male character's side. And therefore, if she is innocent in the script writing, it would be basically hard to blame her for stuff. It is just she's unfortunate, she's sick. She didn't go and ask for that, but the guy loves her so much that he goes around and do wrong things. Now the problem is they make her partner in crime. Therefore, if you turn on the live comment, there's a lot of very nasty comments on the female character. All the wrong things is because she exists. She just doesn't need to exist. She should die. She should not be adopted at the point when she was born. She is just she is the unlucky star that fell onto this family. If she didn't exist, they would be perfectly happy. They wouldn't need to get the money. Therefore, the male lead character that the fans love so much, played by Xu Kai, is never going to do the wrong things and not going to end up how it's going to end in this story. This huge amount of negativity that this story gets, particularly about this female character, from the audiences online, I mean, among the people who actually watch this drama, just makes it really uncomfortable. Also, to me, after watching the drama, when I think on it, I really also would say they probably made the wrong choice to make her partner in crime, because I would find it actually an even more interesting story if only the guy is doing it and only he knows. It makes it harder for him to do it. It will make his crime harder to execute. It would require even more sort of like genius crime mastermind person to actually manage to do this. And he's actually living in a family of a policeman. And he can outsmart his daddy, who's got decades of police work experience. Dramatically speaking, that is even more exciting than the current version where basically his burden of being a criminal is halved. And also, obviously, the kind of classic thing about the person who actually is innocent, but she's the reason why this happens, right? When she doesn't know, and then she finds out, like all that contrast and all that kind of conflict and dramatic tension that's going to happen on the female character. If she knows from the beginning and she's actually part of it, then you don't have that, right? You take it out right from the beginning. I was thinking the two possibilities. One is the drama's choice of how it does it, and the other one, I would prefer the other one. Some people may say, okay, when the writer writes it, they just want their own story. It should not be their burden to consider when this drama airs and who plays it, where it's going to impact the actors negatively if they play certain roles and they're going to get hated on, blah, blah, blah. If that was 20 years ago, I would agree with you. Unfortunately, we live in internet age where no story actually gets kept safe before they air because we have paparazzi in the most unbelievable ways. Most drama scripts get leaked before they even go on screen. And fandom of an actor is a very important data point for every decisions made by platforms, whether to cast this one or that one, right? And then how to utilize that resources to do free promotion for them, all that. It's long become that kind of ecosystem where you have to consider, right, when you write these things, how it would jam with the fandom of the people potentially who are going to play those roles. It's something that you can't run away from, and that's just the reality of it. I just feel people probably didn't consider that too much. But the end result is live comment section was very nasty. If you don't watch it on Chinese platform and you don't read live comment, then lucky you. Now let's talk about what I like about this drama, and then all the things that I didn't expect that it could actually do. Point number one, if you are not a fan of any particular actor, you just wonder, this is a 20 episode crime drama, is it worth watching as a genre drama? I would say it is pretty okay. Among the crime dramas we have these days in Chinese drama land, this can go definitely beyond the middle point, probably between very good and okay, somewhere there. It is condensed enough, it's not watered down, it goes straight to the point, and there's no unnecessary stupid romantic stuff that lasts forever that just fill the scenes. None of that exists. It is kind of old-fashioned, get to the point crime story. The second point I would say is this story is filled with enough detail to make it feel like a real space-time story. Particularly, I enjoy how they wrote the details of police work, mostly played out by the very good actor Ding Yongdai. Apart from the actors being really good at doing what he does always, but also because on script level, it's been given enough details. You totally can believe he's a real, very veteran policeman of a small town. Other details I really like is overall this drama's looks, how it replicates the end of 90s, possibly in a small town what things would be looking like. Production design, costume, color scheme, lighting, all that is like nothing wrong with it. It just flows really nicely and convincing enough and realistic enough. The third thing, interestingly enough, although we have a leading couple, which is Xu Kai, Deng Enxi, playing this partner in crime, young couple, I wouldn't actually consider them as the emotional core of the story. The emotional core is actually the parents' generation, Ding Yongdai and Hu Ke, this couple. If it wasn't them there, it would be much less a story and you would care a lot less about everybody else in the story. It really is them holding things together, interestingly. I mean, I always know Ding Yongdai is a great actor. He never fails. Like back in the days of Nirvana in Fire when he played the Emperor, right? He was a very good actor. The funny thing about him is I guess he looks old enough, therefore he never ages. You look back on like dramas he's done 10 years ago, you feel like barely anything has changed on his face. He just always looks like that. And he's played many different older generation characters since Nirvana and Fire, and till today, he's still one of the best. Just making you believe he's a real person, and also his line delivery is just top notch. Hu Ke also did a brilliant performance. I think she's also one of those underrated actors. She's in everything. She can do everything. And she never comes out as the most noticeable one, but then you almost feel she never fails at anything either. Adding on that, since we're talking about acting, although it's not necessarily point 4, but let's say, huge surprise of Xu Kai. So for this drama, the leading couple, the female lead, Deng Enxi, she started acting actually quite early on. She's been around for quite a few years. She's still very young, and she's played many different roles in different things. Overall, she's a qualified actress. When needed, she can do pretty much whatever the director needs her to do. And before I got into this drama, I have an expectation of what her performance would be like. And this drama is pretty much exactly as I expected. So there's no surprise element. But the true surprise element is Xu Kai. He's the person that I worry most about this drama before I got in. I'm like, maybe everybody is like doing proper acting and he would just be in an idol drama. Thankfully, he wasn't. Honestly, I got shocked about the fact that he could look like that in this drama where he's just a normal guy. He's not dressed up and made to look prettier than necessary. His acting is different from everything you've seen he's done previously in idol drama. This drama proves when Xu Kai wants to, or he's given the opportunity to, or he's encouraged by the directors to, whatever, to be a proper, serious, real actor, he can be. He just never was doing that previously. So basically all the idol dramas he's done were like his be dressed up and as if you're doing cosplay from one role to another, looking good, and you have like safety net because you get like voice dubbed by other people, so you look perfect. And all the other roles he's done feels like he's just there to get easy money, get out AFK, you know. He was AFKing his acting all the time. Maybe you can count 1 to 2 characters I think he's done in previous jobs that I would consider. Okay, he's probably put a little bit more effort in this. For example, Once Upon a Time, there's a Spirit Mountain. It's totally out of whack stuff. Therefore, he can act in different ways than normal idol dramas, and it kind of looks interesting. But for this drama, I would say, if you're curious about the potential of Xu Kai, go and check out this drama. He's like a different person, particularly towards the end of the drama when like very extreme things start to happen. You're like, oh, okay, that's like what you can do? So where were you for the last decade? So probably the best thing about this project is it reintroduced you to Xu Kai, this very familiar face in Chinese idol drama, traffic drama land. Now he's proven that he can do. It just depends on future projects, whether he's gonna switch that on for other things or whether he's gonna revert back to his AFK sort of way of acting. And also if he wants to move further. One thing is to control negative whatever gossips that exist in the last couple of years of his. Another thing is he needs to sort out his line delivery. It's not very bad compared to a lot of traffic actors. He's actually not bad, but it's not good enough. He doesn't engage much of his diaphragm. His voice is very scattered. If you compare his way of using his voice to the daddy character Ding Yongdai, you could see the big difference between much less trained or having no training younger generation and properly trained and very experienced actor. The way that the voice penetrates is just not comparable. But maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe this would be the max he's ever done and ever will be. And he will be happily then going back to his idol dramaland and stay there for another decade, I don't know, playing heartthrobs. That should be the end of this video. Thank you for watching Avenue X. Hope that's useful for you to decide whether you should check out this 20 episodes, not very long, crime drama on Tencent, 方圆800米, 800. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching.